Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news now. Folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you is a game-changing move in the AFC East, potentially reshaping the landscape for the Buffalo Bills and their division rivals. We're talking about a fascinating trade scenario involving the Cincinnati Bengals and the Bills, a deal that could have massive repercussions for both teams, but especially for Buffalo's Super Bowl aspirations. It's a story that combines strategic rebuilding, outright win-now moves, and a glimpse into what the future could hold for this Bills team that's been on the rise for the past few seasons. Let's start by setting the scene. The Cincinnati Bengals, currently sitting at 2-5, are facing serious challenges. Their defense, which has been a concern all season long, is ranked 29th in DVOA, and they're giving up around 27 points per game. Not exactly what you'd call a championship-level defense, especially when you consider their struggles in the trenches, with their offensive line allowing a staggering 28 sacks so far. The Bengals are clearly in a bit of a rebuild mode, trying to turn things around, and they have some valuable assets that could be used to accelerate that process. One of those assets is Chris Olave, the talented wide receiver from Ohio State, who's been showing flashes of brilliance this season. Olave, with his precise route running, sharp cuts, and ability to create separation, has been a consistent deep threat for Joe Burrow when healthy. He's already accumulated over 512 yards and 22 touchdowns in his career, averaging an impressive 2 yards per reception. In 2024, he's been solid with 38 catches for 512 yards and 4 touchdowns in just 7 games. Despite a shoulder injury in Week 5 that limited him to 76% of snaps, Olave's impact has been undeniable. His advanced stats paint a picture of a receiver who excels in separation, with a top 3 separation rate of 32 yards, and his EPA per target stands at an impressive 0.34. Plus, he's shown an ability to make contested catches at a 60% clip and gain yards after the catch, averaging 6.1 yards YAC per reception. His ability to stretch the field is complemented by NFL.com noting 14 receptions of 20-plus yards this season, similar to what T. Higgins brought to Cincinnati last year. Olave's presence would be a massive upgrade for the Bills' passing attack, especially with Stefon Diggs drawing so much attention from defenses. Now the Bengals' perspective is interesting. They're in a rebuilding phase, with Joe Burrow's QBR sitting at 84.3, which is solid but not quite at the elite level needed to carry a team through the playoffs. Cincinnati is hesitant to commit to a long-term extension with Burrow for around $90 million at this stage, preferring instead to focus on developing their young talent and rebuilding that offensive line. Their focus is on acquiring youth and cap flexibility, which explains their interest in trading away a proven weapon like Olave in exchange for a package that includes Amari Niblack, a tight end with promising potential, and a third-round pick in 2026. Niblack, who's been PFF rated at 77.8, offers some versatility and youth to Cincinnati's tight end room, which has been lacking consistency. The Bengals could see this move as a way to bolster their defense and offensive line with younger players, similar to what the Browns did with Deshaun Watson's retooling, bringing in younger talent to rebuild from the trenches out. Meanwhile, for the Bills, this scenario spells exciting possibilities. Buffalo, sitting at a strong 5-2 and leading the AFC East, has had some limited production at wide receiver beyond Stefon Diggs. Gabriel Davis has shown flashes but hasn't been consistent, and Khalil Shakir has been promising but still developing. Adding Olave could be a game-changer, especially considering how much he would elevate Josh Allen's passing efficiency. When Olave is on the field, his presence boosts Allen's EPA per pass from around 0.19 to an estimated plus 0.33, a significant jump that can translate into more points and more sustained drives. The Bills' offense, which ranks around 11th in the league, could see a dramatic improvement in red zone efficiency and overall explosiveness. Statistically, Olave would increase the Bills' average yards per route by about 17 yards, making them even more dangerous in the deep passing game. Plus, with Samuel's questionable status heading into Week 8, Olave would provide that reliable deep threat that can stretch defenses vertically, which is crucial against opponents with strong secondary units. This trade also offers a strategic boost on defense. Cincinnati's defense, currently ranked 25th in passing yards allowed with about 230 yards per game, could benefit from the draft picks and young defensive linemen they'd acquire from Buffalo. The Bills, on the other hand, could help address their pass rush issues with the young talent coming from Cincinnati, especially since they've been dealing with injuries in their defensive line, Carter being on IR and Jones battling a calf injury. That depth in the trenches can help sustain drives on defense and reduce the number of big plays allowed, a key factor in the Bills' recent struggles. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The current Super Bowl odds for the Bills were around plus 600 earlier this season, but with the addition of a player of Olave's caliber, who's been a playoff grinder with an average of 98 yards per game in past seasons, their chances could improve significantly, possibly moving closer to plus 350. This move would not only strengthen their offense, but also send a message to the league that the Bills are all in on another Super Bowl push. Josh Allen, already one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league, would have a true deep threat to complement his game, making the Bills' passing attack almost unstoppable when firing on all cylinders. It's also worth mentioning that Olave's ability to make contested catches at a 60% clip and his yards after catch make him a nightmare for defenses. His skill set fits perfectly with the Bills' style of play, emphasizing vertical routes and explosive plays. Plus, his presence could help take pressure off Stefon Diggs, allowing him to operate in more one-on-one situations, which is where he's most effective. It's a move that screams win now, but also build for the future, giving Buffalo a versatile weapon that could help them contend for multiple seasons. On the other side, Cincinnati's perspective is clear. They're playing the long game. They're focused on rebuilding that offensive line, developing young talent, and retooling their defense. While trading away Olave might seem like a step back, they're aiming to build a more sustainable team by acquiring Niblack and future draft capital, which could pay dividends in the coming years. The Bengals aren't necessarily looking for a quick fix, but rather a strategic rebuild, and this trade scenario fits that vision perfectly. So what does this all mean for the Bills and their Super Bowl chances? Well, it's a bold move, but if executed correctly, it could be a seismic shift. Adding Olave would not only boost their offensive explosiveness, but would also send a message to the rest of the league that the Bills are serious about winning now. With their current roster, this kind of upgrade could be the missing piece that pushes them over the top, especially in tough playoff battles where explosive plays make all the difference. It's a move that could elevate their status from a good team to a true contender, and it's exactly the kind of bold move that passionate Bills fans have been dreaming about. And just imagine the impact in the locker room. Allen throwing to Olave, who's known for clutch catches and big plays, could create a new level of confidence and swagger for this Bills squad. The chemistry and timing between quarterback and receiver are so essential in the NFL, and adding someone like Olave, with his precise route running and ability to get open deep, could be the catalyst for a deep playoff run. It's a move that could redefine the Bills' offensive identity, making them even more lethal in the passing game. Now, we all know that trades like these are complex and involve a lot of negotiations, but the potential benefits are enormous. For Cincinnati, it's a chance to accelerate their rebuild and get assets that can help them in the trenches and on defense. For Buffalo, it's about closing the gap with the league's best and positioning themselves as serious Super Bowl contenders once again. The AFC is highly competitive, with teams like Kansas City, Jacksonville, and Baltimore all vying for supremacy, but Buffalo's aggressive approach could set them apart. So, in conclusion, keep an eye on this story. If this trade comes to fruition, it could be one of the defining moments of the NFL offseason. It's a bold strategy, but one that could pay off big time for the Bills, especially if Olave hits the ground running and helps them dominate on offense. The AFC East might be getting a whole lot more interesting, and the Bills could be on the verge of something extraordinary. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Would you trade a third-round pick in 2026 and Amari Niblack for Chris Olave? Do you believe this move would push the Bills into Super Bowl contention? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Bills. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news.